If I'm so lucky to have a conscious death, where I'm aware that I'm going to die, instead of being, I don't know, hit by a nuclear bomb or a car crash and don't even have a chance to realize I'm dying, I don't want to sit there, be thinking, well, what did I do with my life? Did I just sit and wait to die? I want to do what my insides and my passions and my creativity and my values tell me to do. And what it all amounts to, I'm not sure. But I guess I would say to other people, you know, if making films and videos or writing or anything in this field seems important to you, do it. Because if we don't do that, then what are our lives all about? It's competitive. People always would say to me when I was working in Hollywood, oh, it's so competitive, how are you succeeding at all, and doesn't that worry you? And I'd always think, well, yeah, it's competitive, but what am I going to do if I don't do this? Am I going to drive a cab? No, I don't really want to do that. Am I going to work at Starbucks? No, I don't really want. So I did it because I had to do it, because it was the best thing that I could do with my life. The way I got into filmmaking and video making is I went to film school at San Francisco State, graduated in '77, and then I went down to Hollywood to work. And I had my little documentary, my little college documentary under my arm, and it was pretty bad. But I got a job as an assistant editor. And one story I like to tell about that was my first day in my first Hollywood job as an assistant editor at Universal Studios. The producer had hired me because I don't know why he did, but he did. And I walked in the first day and he handed me this pile, these reels and reels and reels of film, and he said, sync these dailies. And for anyone that doesn't know about the film world back then, before there was video, the film itself was shot in the camera, the sound was recorded on a sound machine, and then you had to sync them together, and that's why there's slates at the beginning of every take. And I looked at this pile of film, and he gave me a splicer, which I'd never used and didn't know how to use, and I said, oh no. So I went in with this pile of film and splicer, and I walked into the editor that I was working for, and I said, Beverly, can you show me how to use this splicer? And she looked at me, didn't say a word. She got up from her desk, she slammed the door, marched into the next room, slammed the door, and I heard her yelling at the top of her lungs at the producer, I told you not to send me another film student that doesn't know anything. So that was my first day in Hollywood. When I started working in this field, I had somewhere around zero confidence. I cried at night. I cried, I was afraid I couldn't do things. I had little confidence, but I'll tell you, there's nothing like just working and working and working and learning and learning and learning. There's certainly nothing like working on TV shows and seeing stuff that I worked on the screen, and it's real and it's professional. That really helped me get confidence. So later, when I started doing independent stuff, I knew I had that background of knowing how to work professionally and knowing my stuff was good enough. So that helped me get confidence. One of the things that I love the most about working on documentaries is that I learned something on every single one, without exception. So I recently worked on a documentary about Venezuela, and I knew nothing about Venezuela until I worked on this documentary. Now I know lots about it. I worked on a documentary about health issues for women in prison. I knew nothing about that. Now I know lots. I mean, I could just go through the years and go through the documentaries that just opened a world to me. They opened lots of worlds to me, and I love that. I had a plan for myself, and my plan was that I was going to go work in Hollywood, and I was going to go learn a lot of skills, and I was going to get good at my craft, whatever exactly that was going to be, I didn't know, and then I was going to put it to use, making socially aware, helpful, and educational documentary type films. I didn't know the details, and that's what I did. And I didn't always remember that I was doing that plan. When I was in Hollywood for all those years, a lot of times I was just working and just surviving and just learning and doing. But it did work out that way because I had a plan in the back of my mind of what means something to me.